and we are here for the Race of Champions, the top three from all 6 categories racing around the Silverstone circuit, with the Romanian champion as well, and also Nailboy voted by the fans. I'm joined by Multi.
Hi everyone, I'm looking forward to a cracking qualifying and race today.
I say a little bit different. We've got the full quali set up, so Q1, Q2 and Q3, so it'll be interesting to see what strategies people decide to use throughout these. Are we going to see anyone go for maybe the medium tyres in Q2 and try that alternate strategy? But of course,
realistic as well, so realistic cars for the slower cars for the quickest drivers, giving everyone a relatively equal shout at a good result and good race tonight.
Yeah, looks like Justice gone out on intermediates.
Someone's having fun if that's happened. Yes,
He's pretty. I know he was season 7 champion, but that's pretty confident, isn't it?
Especially in a Williams. Let's see, can he? No, of course he won't. It's so fun.
Well, it's almost a little bit ironic. A lot of the championship rivals are almost teammates tonight. You got Shabby and Justice both in the Williams. We'll see. He'll be the first one to go. It was pretty close in their battle. I think Shabby had 6 of the wins. Justice had 7. It was pretty close, and Shabby onto the Hamilton Straight, as it's now named, and running towards Abbey for the first lap of the day. Throws it through turn 1, running towards the village. Of course, it will be interesting. They're used to throwing the cars in, them completely sticking. That Williams is going to feel a little bit different today. They definitely have to work for this qualifying session.
Yeah, that Williams will definitely won't stick as normally as they would expect in an eco cars. You can even see Shabby struggling to just get it around some of these medium to high speed corners.
Yeah, I think through Luffield he dipped in his second gear, maybe just hoping for a bit more rotation. I think he just ran a bit too wide. Still completely flat out through Copse Corner. Now Maggots, Beckett's flicking up towards Chapel. Using everything the track has available to him. Goes purple, of course, at the moment.
Yep, first out there, but we'll see how. I mean, being one of the, if not the quickest driver in RLH, we'll see how well he can really challenge in what is by far the slowest car in the game, coming across for a 126.6, which isn't half bad really.
Oh, Crankbot's out. That's down at turn 1. Chalkers goes P2. Broomer into 3rd. Marius Daniel across the line. He takes provisional pole. Well, in Q1, so not provisional pole, but
yeah. And there's Daddy Spirit as well, showing how difficult it might be for the C1 champion and others around that area who's been beaten by his time. His time's been beaten quite, although it is quite close, by those in C5 and C6. And of course the Romanian champion and Marius Daniel.
Ralph just gone purple in the first sector, and Evil Master's gone on to into that top spot. But I think if we look at the timing sheets, it's so close at the moment, and it looks like some of the guys having the Red Bull and Mercedes have just got the advantage at the moment. But of course, there's still the potential for later runs ahead of us as Ralph makes his way through Chapel now.
Yep, and Evil Master's still in a battle for the C6 Championship tomorrow. But right now, in Q1 of course, so there's still more to battle for these guys to get that pole position. But right now, the Red Bull sitting.
Yeah, Shack Attack and Evil Master are the ones that are going at it. Shack Attack actually, I think, retired in the pit lane, so maybe he's, considering 19th is for him as Ralph goes into P3. Mercedes of Daddy Spritz doing another lap on those tyres. I think he's going to go again. He's got the fuel in the car.
Just double checking on the mini-map, yeah. It does seem like Jack has retired in the pit lane. Maybe he thinks he can just drive through the field on the Mercedes, I don't know. Cranky Ball unfortunately crashing out of turn 1, as you pointed out.
Now Boy voted by the drivers actually as the person to fill that final spot, just making his way down towards the Vale chicane. There's a Ferrari in front, which I think might be Law setting another time. As he goes round through Club and onto the main straight, the McLaren driver is going to go up into P10 for the time being.
C3 driver who so happened to be my teammate in C3. I will not be biased in commentary though. But yeah, we'll see how well Boy can do after being voted by the drivers into this race. I'm sure he's happy that the drivers in the league believe in him that much that he should be able to be in this league, in this race.
Rouse sets a fastest final sector to make it a Red Bull 1-2 as things stand. They're going well, but Daddy Spritz actually just jumps ahead of him, so it's a tight battle at the top between the C5 and the C6 guys.
I think they'll be particularly loving it up there, and that's a nice lap by the Racing Point driver. I've always called him the Prof, just as a bit of a on-running joke that everyone seems to enjoy, so I just kept that up.
Well, the C5 champion.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely a great driver as well, and we'll see if he can keep this up actually throughout all 3 sessions. But that's a really good time in a Racing Point.
Well, he's got 3 poles from season 8 and a 2 out of 3 conversion rate, so pole position, good sign for him so far, as Jordan just about to start a flying lap going through turn 1.
Some of the cars may benefit for it being at Silverstone as well. I think Racing Point would probably be one of them. Really good in the straight line, having that Mercedes engine, and also having good high-speed cornering, which is a big style here at the Silverstone circuit. So everything could come into place for the C5 champion tonight.
I think it's a very it's quite a balanced car as well. So on a circuit like this, where it does demand the high speed, direction changes, I think it suits it quite well. As Jordan just making his way towards Mags, and Beckett's got the Haas car in front of him, I think of Bruma. He makes his way onto the hangar straight, going purple at the moment, and I think this could be a really good time for Jordan. Goes into Stowe. Jordan one pole last season and even managed 1 win as well, and crossed the line and goes into P3, just dipping into the 25s. Good time from him.
P3 just behind Evil Master. He's actually beating the rest of the he's actually beating the rest of the drivers from C3, so he'll be happy about that one. Freddie actually down in 11th right now in the same car.
Well, I think there's some. I mean, it is going to help the field that Crankybot and Shack Attack are out of the qualifying already. We know that one, so the 2 spots of the elimination have already been filled. But there are some big names, further down the order at the moment. Bruma's on a lap at the moment. I think Tiku's going to need to find a little bit more pace as well, just as, of course, that first lap didn't really count on the intermediates.
He's just looking for a delta, I think, with that one. A bit of a crazy strategy, but you're right, Tiku second in C4, but way down there in 15th in a Ferrari, which is a midfield team, but and that pains me to say that actually. Ferrari is a midfield team. But yeah, we'll see what you can do. If we, yeah, he's still got time for a final run. We've still got 7 minutes left of Q1.
Bit of lock up for Bruma. He needs to find a little bit of time. He wasn't actually up on his delta at the end of the second sector, but as he crosses the line, finds a little bit of time, goes into P12 just ahead of his teammate. Seems like the guys in the Haas are struggling a little bit with this car.
The Haas is a difficult beast to tame, it seems.
Justus goes P8 though in the Williams, so I think that time could leave him safe. I hope so.
It's looking so close to. It's difficult to tell what will be safe, but I'm looking at it now. It's probably going to be mid 26 that you're going to need to guarantee getting through.
Yeah, I think if you're below that 126.6, so if you're sort of ahead of Law, I think I'm almost like to think you're safe at the moment.
Yeah.
But both Alfa Romeos have left themselves a lot of work to do. Only one lap they've given themselves, trusting their pace.
Brent's out there right now. That is going to go in Maggots and Beckett's, which will be, let's see how difficult this can be for this car. Actually, I've done some running in an Alfa Romeo and it's actually quite a difficult car in the high speeds. It's essentially the opposite of what the racing point would be, except for some reason it's got really good top speed and straight line speed. And Brent's pitting.
Not too happy with that lap in the end.
And he's not got much time left, and sitting at the bottom, and his teammate still in the pits as well.
Prince is yet to come out on track.
As you said, well, at least Prince for definite is trusting in his speed that he'll only need one run at the end of qualifying.
It is a track that's easy to invalidate as well.
Yeah, I think that's a massive gamble on a car that's definitely not the best in the field, and certainly on a track where, as you say, it's quite easy to invalidate quite easily, especially Maggots and Beckett's. You can easily just lose a little bit and go off of the track, and the game is very, very quick at punishing drivers, even if it's caused by understeer or oversteer. As Ralph goes quickest, the times are actually improving quite quickly. That was a 3/10 improvement by the Red Bull
just
driver.
Looking ahead of Pratik.
Absolutely. So Evil Master also back out. So
he's finding time too in that Red Bull.
The drivers aren't resting on their first laps here, it seems. Where I think they would have been safe and there was no need to use another set of softs. They just want to make sure that they definitely are going through. Even though there's only now 3 going to be eliminated, as 2 are already retired from the session.
Purple final sector from Evil Master, but just behind his teammate Ralph. Yeah, I would almost think maybe you just want to save the set, but you know,
well, I would have done that. I'm not the one that's in the race of champions.
Well, I'm looking at the top left, and Evil Master, he's already done a lap on these soft tyres, so maybe it's the same set he used earlier on. Of course, the drivers can, they don't have the fear of starting on these tyres in Q1. It's the next session where we have to start worrying about that.
Yep, that's the important one. Get through to that next session, Q2, and then that's when you have to start worrying about the race a little bit. I just noticed the gap between P2 and P3 is literally 6 thousandths of a second. That's how close this is.
Well, the whole field is close. I think that's what's great to see so far. Nailboy finding time in the first sector. He does need to find. Well, he's currently on the cusp in P15.
Yep. I think he is going to need to improve, because I do think that Piku, Prinz and Brent can definitely go quicker than, well, Prinz and Brent could definitely go quicker, because I've not set any times. Um, it's getting close.
I can see on the mini-map there's a flurry of cars leaving the pit lane. It looks like Bruma, was he want to come out as well? I've got an eye on him. Nelboy though, purple in the middle sector. He's 3/10 of a second up. And 3/10 could put him all the way up into, you know, well inside the top 10.
Yeah, it could. How much has he got to improve on in the final sector? It's the slow, twisty corners to end the track. Short run to the line, and it's 4/10 up, puts himself into 8th place behind his teammate for tonight, Brandon, with a 1:26.4.
That's a very good time from Nelboy. Shabby just starting the lap in the Williams. So he's not too confident in that P12 position at the moment.
It's starting to get a bit touch and go, even with a 1:26.6, as so many drivers have a 1:26.6. Pretty surprisingly as well, in the danger zone, or near the danger zone.
Looks like Tiku just made it out. I think he did a run at about 4 minutes, he invalidated that lap. He's behind Shabby at the moment. I think he's just about got enough time to get round and start his lap. Hopefully he can.
Brent just started his final lap, and so will Prince. He'll start his first and final lap, and that's a big gamble from him.
If anyone can, Prince can. I mean, super quick, especially over one lap. I remember, I think it was season 7, him and a lot of the C2 guys were almost doing time, you know, trying to beat each other's time trial more than racing each other. You know, rapid quick. I think he was 40th around Monaco at one point, as Shabby goes another purple time in the middle sector, finding he's about 2/10 up, so definitely looking to put himself inside that top 10. Williams just lacking that grip.
Yeah, absolutely. He knows he's going to have to fight for it, as you said earlier, and you've just seen it there as well, just trying to force it through the final corners. And he actually lost a bit of time, but it is still improving by almost 2/10. I think he'll be safe with that. I can't be 100% sure though, as so many people behind.
The checkered flag is out, so no pressure on Prinz. It's a 1:02.9 combination time. I think that's good. So I think he's one of that the McLaren of Brandon goes into P4 and dipping into the 25s now.
A really good time there, Brent. Oh, he's
Brent's out.
He's 16th. That is not good enough. And will it be the same for Prince?
Will Prinz push Bruma into the drop zone? Yes, he will.
Yes, he will.
Fretty's invalidated his time.
Invalidated.
And Bruma was 7 thousandths up on his first sector.
And he's now
a little bit down.
700ths down. Oh, this is going to be close.
He needs a mighty final couple of corners.
I would say it'll be quite the shock if Fretty's out at this point.
Well, we could be looking at one of our champions dropping out in Q1. Bruma around the final corner. Stay 16th.
So it's all down to...
Don't forget Tiku though. Tiku's up on his time.
And he's up by 3/10. It's not enough at the moment, but that was in sector 2. Tiku, can he displace Fretty? Oh, that went so quickly, we'll find out in a second. No, it's 18th, which is actually really disappointing for Tiku. But Fretty just squeaks in 15th place. So
look at that top 3. 19 thousandths of a second is crazy close.
Oh wow, that is brilliant though. Everyone that qualified within a second, and Bruma just missing out, and Fretty just hanging in there with 1:26.7. We were around about right with the cut-off time as well. Prinz making it through with Brent, Ticked, Bruma out, and Crankybot crashing and Shack Attack not setting the time. They're all out of Q1.
But our most experienced driver of the evening, Bruma, 284 races to his name, has dropped out in Q1 unfortunately. But I mean, he's very experienced. You know, he knows how to do it. He's already, he's got 3 drivers' championships, and we're straight into the next one. In Q2, of course, now it's a little bit more important on the tyres. Who's going to be brave enough to put on a set of medium tyres? I think it's the big question in this session. Looks like maybe Evil Master and Shabby might go for the medium runs. Give it a go.
Well, Shabby is definitely a risk in the Williams. I think he'll have to do it on softs in the end. Evil Master, that could be interesting. Of course, everyone was really close in Q1, so we'll see what happens, really. But everyone else, well, actually, Jordan's just set medium.
Well, I think the deltas, I think at this track it's around sort of just shy of a second. So the guys right at the front, I don't think they'll make it. It'd be very, very close. So I have to see how the first runs pan out. Evil Master is actually the first car on track on those mediums.
Yeah, I must admit I'm loving Freddie's response to him basically sweating it when he got through in 15th in the chat.
Brent's saying he was doing 0.3s in the practice lobby a little bit earlier on, so not going to plan and maybe just leaving himself with a little bit too much, a little bit too much work on his hands with that one run.
Yeah, well, that's what we definitely said. It was always going to be a risk to try and do that, and that's what happens, really. I've also just noticed that some people are asking who you are.
Oh yeah.
So, some haven't been around since you've been able to commentate last, I guess. But one of our, and may I say, one of our best commentators in the league. We obviously had a busy beginning to the year and couldn't commentate as much, but has come back, and it should be a lot. Tonight will be a lot of fun, and hopefully can continue joining the commentary team into future seasons this year and beyond.
Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to season 9, the Euro Cup, and
the Euro Cup.
Evil Master, decent first sector time, I think. 27.4 on the medium tyres, runs a little bit wide, and actually invalidates his time. Not finding the grip on those mediums that he would have wanted.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. You don't necessarily need to cut the horn, or almost intentionally. No one intentionally does it, of course. But you just need to lose that back end and end up going off track, and the game does punish it very quickly. Which can be a shame, but it is the rules. As the Racing Point does the same bit in Maggots and Beckett's. So that lap on the softs will not count, and it's been invalidated. With
your race set, you probably don't want to do the extra lap. Being a soft medium track, I think you do value that, the tyre life on the softs.
Absolutely. I've not watched much of Chopper's races throughout the season, but I can see him coming round. Actually, I think, has he invalidated too? Yeah, it looks like he has. A lot of drivers invalidating their first attempts.
I think Ralph did as well. I think Ralph was actually on his out lap, but I think maybe people realising how close it was actually, people not thinking, it was going to be that close, and pushing that little bit too much in Q2 because, well, the stakes are just that little bit higher. It's just who puts his car up in the top spot.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, well, 126 flat for second place C3 driver.
He came third.
Third. Sorry, yeah. My bad. My mistake. You're the one with the stats. I'm
5 podiums, 3 wins, and it was his debut season. So pretty good stuff to end up in third.
Actually, quite a few of the drivers in this race, it was their debut season this year, but we also have a few experienced drivers, as mentioned before, Bruma. We've also got Brandon, Shabby, Fretty. So yeah, it's a good mix of new and experienced drivers, as Jordan puts in a valid lap as well of a 1:26.2. Just beating out Daddy Spirits actually, so yep, still looking just as close as it was in Q1 in Q2, and that's probably why, as you said, some of the drivers are pushing harder, which is leading to more invalid lap times.
Shabby nicking a bit of a toe off his teammate as he runs down towards Stoke. Pretty clean lap so far, but looking at the timing sheets, I mean, Prince for Q1 that would have been quite a good lap in the Alfa Romeo, but he's down in P5 at the moment, very, very close between the top four as Maris Daniel goes into P5. Shabby around the final corner, it's going to be a 26.4, which again, good for the Williams, but P5 might not be enough so far.
Yeah, there's still half the grid still to set a valid lap time.
Big lock up.
Some of the drivers, I wonder if some of the drivers, maybe intentionally, of course, maybe they're intending to start medium. Obviously, you've got some tricks that some of the drivers maybe playing. Although Eagle Master isn't, he's invalidated a medium run.
Again, they're 2-lap-old tyres.
The second time he's done it, yeah. He's struggling to just, with the grip of these medium tyres, it looks like he might be best. He's going to have to use the mediums at some point during the race, but at the moment he's probably best using the softs.
As Ralph goes a little bit quicker than Justus, 300s up on him now, and see what Justus can do. He goes purple in the middle sector on his mediums. So where will he sort of fill in against his teammate? Fretty goes into P6. And Pratik, wow, that's a quick time. On very old softs. Is that just me that sees that? 3-lap old?
That's 3 laps, 3-lap old softs. That's, I mean, the tyre wear isn't bad here, although you can get really bad with tyre temps. That's what you've got to watch out for in the race. But I'm not sure I would want to start with 3-lap old tyres.
Yeah, I'm not. He might want to do another run if he's got another set of softs lying about.
But can he beat that time? Because like you said, that's a really good time. 25.6. The times have tumbled from the first at Q1 for definite. That's much quicker times being set.
Yeah, I think we can, you know, Pratik probably maybe one of the favourites. I think I saw some predictions earlier on today, and well, Pratik and the Racing Point, that combination did look very strong. Of course, the C4 champion, C5 champion,
C5 champion, but
yeah,
really quick for and so were quite a few of the other C5 not champions, there's only one champion. C5 drivers, Ralph is right up there as well, just in second place so far.
I think Crankybot, if he hadn't made that mistake and unfortunately DNF'd in Q1, I think he could be very easily up there. Very, very quick driver, especially over one lap. And over the last, he took a break after the Asia Cup and almost had a little bit of a reputation of being a little bit reckless, but came back fighting, came back strong, and it was a really strong season 7 for him, and he built on that in season 8. Yes, seven poles last season for him.
Yep, he's very much a one-lap specialist, and had quite a few good races as well. Obviously, from being in the top 3, I do find it rather unlucky that Calai, I think earlier in the day, had said you'll bottle it basically to Crankybot as a joke, and then yeah.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, exactly. When Calai says something's going to happen, unfortunately, it seems to happen. unless he's backing a certain driver, then that driver tends to have all the bad luck. As Enzo found out whenever Callie was around for a C4 race.
Yeah.
And the season. Over the last 2 seasons, that's even been. Let's have a look and see who.
Shabby's just pointed it out. Williams are fighting to get into Q3, just like real life at the moment. Well, George was quite close in Imola, but Shabby just inside that top 10 at the moment. But Evil Master on a flying lap at the moment.
Well, let's hope for their sakes that Williams can make it to Q3. Let's also hope for their sakes that they can finish the race.
Yeah, I think the one thing I'm quite interested in to see the difference between like 1 lap pace and then race pace, because obviously the guys, the more experienced guys, I think, you know, maybe like Shabby or Fretty and you know, Prinz, are they going to sort of gain a bit more in the race because, you know, you require that consistency rather than just the 1 lap pace? I think that'd be something quite interesting to have a look at.
That could easily come into play. Having raced with the guys in C3, I know particularly Fretty can definitely make a way through a pack, through a race, and make the perfect strategy calls, knows when to pit. Obviously we're not going to have rain, but he's also usually good at getting that right as well. Basically he's good at ignoring Jeff. So we'll see what some of the other drivers. I think the Renault team. I think everyone's saying how strong that Racing Point lineup is. I think the Renault team is just as strong a lineup. Jordan and Fretty as well.
Well, Fretty very happy with his lap. He's much cleaner lap than he managed to get in Q1. He's saying, but I think in terms of the race, I think Renault do have one of, if not the strongest lineup. I think they're two very sort of more race specialist drivers, rather than sort of the 1 lap outright pace. And if they get through into Q3, which they're, you know, currently in a very nice 7th and 8th, I think they could do very well from there.
Yeah, of course, everyone seems to be improving their laps. I guess, of course, not everyone will be used to driving some of these cars, because this is on realistic performance. Therefore, it might have took a little bit of getting used to. I believe Fretty said he hadn't done any practice at all, and that was his first real go. Basically, it would have been his first real go today, I believe in Q1, or if he joined a practice maybe earlier as well. So yeah, not much practice, I don't think, for many of the drivers. Finally getting to grips with their cars for this race night.
And again, that's where the advantage, sort of, it's a bit more of an advantage to the likes of the guys in the Mercedes, the Red Bulls. The car they're used to driving in league racing is quite similar to the one they're driving tonight.
Yeah.
There's not too much adapting to be had. But Pratik is flying. Purple in the middle sector, and that the first person I've seen tonight that was a 101.9 for the first 2 sectors combined across the line. It's going to be a 25.3.
Oh, what a time! And he did go back out on brand new softs, just like we suggested he should. And he just broke his own time. I hope others can catch up, because where the rest of the field is really close, he's really just pulling away now.
Yeah, very, very strong drive from him in Season 8. Definitely built on what he managed in Season 7. He was his first season in RLH was in C6. Made the step up as Brandon goes a little bit wide and validates his time. So he's going to have to... Yeah, you're going to have to back off and maybe look about going again. Probably lucky, because there's an almighty train forming at the final couple of corners as guys are queuing up. And Brandon, I think, will just join the end of that train as he looks to set his time. Prinz, as you allow. Chalker, he said he's. I don't think he's enjoying the Haas too much. Not really the American dream. He was thinking, but
it's a difficult car to drive. He's still there though. He's still trying to get through.
checkered flag is out. He's half a second up. He's in with a shout.
To be fair to him, that Haas in Q2 is a good race, or at least a good qualifying for him so far. But like I said, up on his time, he could just be about to put it into Q3, which would be a great job in a Haas. Just misses out.
10th in the end.
And
Prince is validated.
Oh.
Prince is out. Nailboy a little bit up on his time. Justice though is flying.
And looking at the Romanian champion right now, Mercurius, he's actually up in his time by 3/10. So
Shabby improves. Stays P9. Big improvement for Maris Daniel.
For Maris Daniel.
Justice improves to P7, knocks out his teammate. Shabby down to P11. Nailboy P6, great time.
Nailboy doing a good job now.
Fretty on the cusp.
Oh,
P2.
There we go. Fretty's got the hang of this car now. Jordan.
Brandon backs off.
Brandon's through. He's doing 10th. He'll be happy with that. Both McLarens through to the Q3, the pole position shootout. Fretty getting to grips with the car right at the end of Q2, ensuring that he goes through. So in the Q2 we lose Prinz, will start 15th, Chalkers 14th, Lar and the Ferrari will start 13th, Shabby missing out in the Williams, still good for the Williams, although Just As does make it through in 9th and 12th, Shabby 12th, and Jordan just missing out by a few hundredths of a second to Brandon and is out in 11th. I wonder if those outside the top 10 will start in the mediums so they can go a bit longer and have softs at the end of the race.
I mean, great lap from Fretty, a little bit out of nowhere. I think you were saying he hadn't done too much practice in this Renault. I think definitely up to speed now. And it's almost, I think that's quite encouraging. We could see a strong performance from him.
Well, Fretty thinks his tyres are gone. Excellent. What a P2. Fretty could be in with a shout for the pole position after that one. But Pretec is still about 4/10 there ahead of anyone else in Q2. Can he put it all together in Q3? Because this is where it actually counts for this top 10. This is where we'll find out who gets pole position for this race.
I think in that the end of that session just shows though that, I mean, Pratik obviously has that, probably is the favourite going into this Q3, but I think anyone can fill in the top 5. So now we're getting a great lap right at the end. We've seen the two Red Bulls been so competitive in Q1 and Q2, always up in the top 5. Justice, well, he's provenly quick. Just can he get that Williams, up near the top of this top 10?
I can also guarantee from watching and commentating on the C4 races, Brandon could probably go quicker as well in that McLaren.
He was up on his time, but backed off.
He backed out. He didn't need to continue, I guess. So there's a lot that can happen here. Maybe it's so the Romanian champions still here as well, which is a great show for that league that ran on the Monday nights at the same time as the GT Sport, as well as what is now the ACC leagues that is also run by RLH. So if you're interested in that, I'm sure more leagues will be starting up in the future. GT Sport as well as ACC. Well, so of course we're here right now for the F1 game.
Maris Daniel, first person to start a lap in Q3. Of course, as you said, the current Romanian champion, actually one of the more experienced drivers in the field. 85 races to his name, and managed to pick up one podium in the C3 last season as well, but only competed in 4 races. Getting the power down as he runs along the Wellington Straight. Let's see what this first set is going to look like. You want to be a really low 27. Can he flirt with the 26s? Not quite. It's a good first sector time though. And keeps it nice and comfortable through Brooklands.
Wondering why I didn't have all the information up in front of me, but there we go. Yeah.
Oh, running a bit wide.
Yeah, but that the AlphaTauri is a really good car in game, but that can happen. It just has weird, almost weird bouts of understeer at times. I think really that's probably what caused that.
Just looked a little bit unresponsive through cops there.
Yeah, that's. I think just that had just left there going through cops, which definitely cost him time. But being in the Williams is just so different to what you would usually be able to do.
Great time from Evil Master, putting him onto provisional pole. Daddy Spritz, I think, has made a mistake somewhere, because down in the 31s. The next person, though, will be Pratik, who's invalidated.
Oh, now that's he slowed it down as well, so I think he's going to go for another one on these tyres.
Yeah, it looks like he's saved up some more ERS once again, and he's going to go for it this time around. As Justice, well, poor Justice, he's put in a really good time there in the Williams, and he's effectively sort of bottom of the proper lap so far. Ralph also in the 25s.
Yeah, he must actually be really feeling for Latifi and Russell. Right now he knows what that feels like at the moment. It's clearly a good lap because he's not that far behind Justice or even Ralph for that matter. But that's just how close this is going to be, where even though Justice can get that close, it's still not close
and
enough.
Pratik's off.
Williams.
Pratik losing the rear down at just at the start of Max and Beckett's. He's got no damage or anything, but that's another lap gone, and this set of tyres is pretty much done, and I imagine they're roasting at the moment.
Yeah. Yep. So just Joker's put in the chat that even if he did, if he ever did his fastest theoretical lap, he still wouldn't have been in the top 10 with the Haas.
Wow, Fretty going well at the moment. See where he can put that Renault if he can get into the 25s once again. Number 52.
I do think Fretty's got to grips with this car now, which puts everyone else on notice, especially for the race. Oh, he invalidates crossing the line.
I think it was a 26-1 when he went across.
Oh, that is maybe not. If it was a 26-1, maybe not the bestest laps anyway. But still, to make that mistake just coming across the line, it's not what we are used to seeing from Fretty.
Daddy Spritz, meanwhile, has gone into P2, less than a tenth off that provisional pole time. At Maris Daniel, I think the only car on track setting a proper lap. I think Ralph's on an in lap. See how Maris fares through this first sector. 27.2, so I think pretty much the same as what most people are setting. I think Pratik dipped into the 27.1s, but unfortunately invalidating that time. He's got to regroup and go again. Definitely a driver that has the pace for pole position. See how Maris Daniel finds it through cops this time. Seems to get the car in a lot better that time. Actually kept it flat as well. Through Maggots and Beckett's. Being quite respectful of the curbs. Not taking too much out of them. Saying that, goes onto the grass a little bit. So it's okay so far. I think Pratik's on an outlap, and so is Nelboy. Again, the AlphaTauri just not gripping up as he went through Stowe. 2 more corners to go. Gets on the power, and it's going to be a 1 minute 26.4, so a little bit off the pace at the moment for Marius. There's still time to go again.
Yeah, I wonder if he's got enough tyres to go again, because that was another fresh set. But yeah, let's...
Freddie was on an old set.
Ah, right, okay.
Just reading from the comments. So I think, yeah, maybe if some guys required 2 sets in Q1 and 2 sets in Q2, they're going to be a little bit limited in this session. So, well, a bit like real life, you know, some people have to use the extra sets of softs. So these first runs might not be the most representative, and of course, well, with the checkered flag only 3.5 minutes away, I'm sure we're going to start to see people to show their full hand as Pratik starts his flying lap.
Yeah, we will start to see all those drivers that aren't out on the track yet. They'll be rushing out in the last 2 minutes. But right now,
big moment for Pratik. He's off.
Oh.
Invalidation. Needs to be careful because here comes Brandon on an outlap.
Yep. I was actually watching Nelboy was coming to the end of his lap when that happened. It looks like it'll be his only lap of the session. And it's 1:26.1, just behind Justad, but ahead of Marcus.
Yeah, decent time from Nelboy, but it's just so close at the moment. I think might need a little bit more, but yeah, I don't think there's, unless he's going to go again on this set.
He is actually using DRS and ERS. I think. No, he's down. He's decided not to. Let's see.
Daddy Spritz, I'm just watching him go through Village in the Loop, doing a bit of short shifting just to help, you know, dull the traction down. And the first exit time, 26.9, the first person into the 26s, I think, of the day. And he's 2/10 up at the moment.
This is the Mercedes driver trying to put the Mercedes on pole. I think it's actually really good for. Actually, so sorry, I made a mistake there. I was going to say Daddy Spirits was in the Mercedes in C6, but no, he wasn't. He was Alfa Romeo.
Yes. He's currently third in C6.
Yeah, currently third.
But looking to get on pole.
But let's see if he can get a good start to his week before the final race of C6 tomorrow. Can he stick it on pole?
Well, one of the only drivers in the field that is yet to have an RLH pole to his name. And what a first time to do it. Comes towards the line. It's made 25.5. Brilliant time to go on to provisional pole.
Eagle Master is actually improving. He's actually in the Mercedes, actually in C6, but it's the Red Bull tonight. He's only slightly up, so at the moment Daddy Spirits, yeah.
A little bit too greedy, Evil Master. Going through Chapel. Too much curb. We might just about have time to go again.
Well, we'd have to be pushing like mad. But yeah, I think he might just...
I don't know if Marius Daniel, is Marius Daniel going to make his lap? He's just about going to get across the line. Marius Daniel will be the last car unless Evil Master gets to the line just about.
Does. I did say that Brandon will be able to go quicker in the McLaren, and I was definitely right on that.
Great time from Brandon.
He slowed down on this final run though.
Yeah, I think he just set that lap, and I think Fretty's the first car. Yeah, Freddie's the first car to finish the runs. Daddy Spirit, I think we'll be back to the pit lane. Fretty on a brand new set of soft tyres. What's his middle sector looking like? Purple. At the moment. Where's Fretty going to put himself? Oh, that was close.
I thought he was invalidating that one.
he was dicing with death there.
And it was slower as well. He struggled to get out of that on the power.
Can he go into the 25s? Yes, he can. Yes. He goes P6.
I think Fretty might actually be disappointed with that one.
Ralph in a P2.
Ralph into P2. I think Fretty's lost probably P3 with that mistake, at least.
Justus goes P7. Justus P4 in the AlphaTauri.
P4.
And his teammate Maris Daniel is going to jump into P9 with that lap. And that's qualifying done.
He pips Nellboy. So have a look at this.
But Daddy Spirit sat in the pit lane. What a way to get your first pole at RLH in the Race of Champions.
Everyone's watching, and that's when you get the first pole. That's exactly the time you want to do it. Maybe with a slight advantage being in the Mercedes, but we won't talk about that too much. But yeah, that's a great lap, a great time, and I'm sure he's absolutely buzzing about being on pole position.
100%. And I think one thing that will be quite interesting is his best finish last season was P2. He's had a very good season, Daddy Spirits, but has he got that experience of leading from the front? You've got guys behind. Ralph, 47 races in RLH. Fretty, Justus. Brandon not too far behind. Bratique we've seen really quick this evening. I think he might be a little bit disappointed considering he was down in the point threes in Q2.
Yeah, he peaked too early, it seems. Just at that point, it could have been pole, but it didn't quite work out for him. Look at that though, they're all within 6.5 tenths of each other, and that's just the top 10. The top 15 were within a second, and even those outside the top 15 were very close to being within a second as well. So this is going to be an extremely close and fascinating race to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones. I mean, of course we've got loads of different variables like safety cars and whatnot, but even without them, I think it's still very unpredictable. We don't know what tyres the guys from 11th down to 20th are going to start on, and that can definitely play a big factor.
Of course, when they do pit as well, because the undercut is quite strong. From what we experienced during the season when we raced at Silverstone, the undercut was very strong. So who will be able to blink first and get the biggest advantage out of that? Of course, it makes it a bit more difficult towards the end, but tyre wear is not a big issue.
Yeah, it's one of those races that the pit window is actually quite big. It's almost when do you decide to react to your rivals? As you said, who wants to blink first? But I don't think none of the top 10 are on mediums, are they? I don't think so.
No, I believe they all were on softs, which makes sense in a soft to medium race. But of course, like I said, outside the top 10, could be interesting to see what they decide to do. And
so Jordan and Law are the only ones outside the top 10 on the soft tyres. Everybody else, so all of the other 8 drivers have gone for the mediums.
And I do love the fact that we've got Mercedes bookending the field. It's very interesting. And Red Bull's not getting the 1-2 that they would have liked. but it's 2-3. And as you say, it'll be very interesting to see how Daddy Spirit deals with the pressure of leading the race for the very first time in his RLH racing career.
Yeah, run through the grid very quickly. We got Daddy Spirits on pole for the first time, followed by the two Red Bulls of Ralph and Evil Master. C3 driver Justus in 4th, and then C4 champion Brandon in 5, C5 champion Pratik in P6, followed by C3 champion Fretty in P7. Then he got Justus, the C1 driver. Remaining champion Maris Daniel was 9th. Nelboy, the driver's choice wildcard, rounds out the top 10. Then you got Jordan, Shabby C1 champion, Lau Chalkers, who finished 3rd in C2. You got Prinz and Bruma, both racing in the high categories. Brent as well from C2. Tiku, C4 driver. C5 driver, Cranky Bot, and then Shack Attack rounds out the field. And as Multi said, Mercedes at the front and the back. I think it might be an interesting start, this one, especially with the all the top 10 or top 11 effectively on the equal playing field, all on the softs, no one mixing up with the mediums in there. So you don't have to worry about maybe one of your rolls not having the same grip off the start, but not too many mind games. People trying to split, spread out the field on the formation lap, and hopefully we should be set up for a good start.
I mean, I guess it's a bit of fun for everyone, but it's also this is a very competitive field. So, as much as it being a bit of fun, I'm sure we'll be seeing very, very good racing throughout. We're just about to get underway.
Indeed we are. The lights are here now. We have 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights here at Silverstone. And they were held for a while, but it's lights out and away we go in the race of champions. And who can get the best run down towards terminals like Daddy Spritz? Not phased at all, and he goes into Abbey, completely clear in the front. The two Red Bulls wheel to wheel. Ralph looks like he's just lost out to Evil Master. They go down towards turn number 1. Further behind, the AlphaTauri and the McLaren battling away, and Brandon just keeps hold of that position down the inside. No, he hasn't. The AlphaTauri's held it round the outside. Further back, looks like everyone's got through cleanly down for the first couple of corners.
It looks like it was a very clean start for everyone. Tiny bit of carbon fibre, I think, but you can get very close. A lot of jostling for position still at the back.
Ferrari Tiku keeping ahead in P14.
Yeah, Bruma just sliding it up the inside of the Ferrari of Lower. 17th though, actually still lost the position. It's Marius Daniel that's actually been the biggest loser. He's down in 15th from 9th. And he's been challenged by Brent, who almost lost the back end of the car.
It's getting very racy. Looks like Pratik wanting to get on with things very early on. We saw it at the pace in qualifying, and he's been overtaken by Justus at the start. But Pratik using the power in that racing point and a bit of overtake as well to get back ahead. But Justus not ending this fight. Can he fight this one back? He's going to think about it down into Vale, but no. No way past just there, and Pratik back up into position he started the race in.
Oh, and I think I know where the carbon fibre came from. There's actually a few people in the pits. It's Marius, Bruma and Shaq. And maybe it wasn't completely clean, I guess, but yeah, I think sometimes that does just happen. But if we look at the front, it's still Daddy Spirit and Ralph very close behind.
Jordan's got a really good launch. Shabby going defensive, covers the inside to make Jordan go the long way around. The timing boards having some fun there, but of course Shabby on the medium tyres is just about held on though. Jordan looking for the inside at Luffield, can't find a way through on this occasion. Hard tyres for Bruma.
Yeah, Bruma will be going to the end on the hard. That's exactly what I would have done if I had to.
Oh, Jordan just having to back off a little bit through Cox Corner, not wanting to pick up a warning for running too wide, but when the timing board has the timing board sorted itself out?
Yeah, definitely.
No, not yet.
Marius is leading the race, unfortunately for him. That's not the case.
Shabby under threat from Jordan once again. Jordan maybe looking for a move down the inside. Not quite. Just not got the confidence to go for a lunge into Stoke.
Racing ability coming into play, even though he's in the Williams, which is a difficult car to drive. It's slowest in the grid, but he's managing to fend off Jordan very well right now.
Yeah, and I think DRS would have been enabled. That's another factor we've got to start thinking about. And Ralph just outside of DRS range. Should be hoping the top two don't sort of race away in these early couple of laps.
Yeah. As much as they're in teams, it's definitely every driver for themselves in this one.
And here goes Jordan down the inside on Shabby. The Williams driver, he will get the advantage and then switches to the inside, and he's managing to hold on very well. But Jordan got the grip in that Renault. Can he get around the outside? Not quite. He's going to have the run down the National straight towards Copse Corner. Look at the speed.
Yeah, there we go. He's passed before he even gets to the lift-off zone for Copse. Because you don't brake. Not in a Renault anyway. Maybe in the Williams you might have to. But definitely not the Renault.
Well, Shabby, the race will come to him with a soft stint later on. Of course, he is on the mediums. Always been a change of leadership. Eva Master.
Yeah, it's a move into Stowe. Right, please tell me I'm right.
Yeah.
I do think it'll be interesting when Jordan and Freddie start battling. Well, it's quite a queue here actually, from what is essentially 5th down to 11th. With Prince trying to get onto that as well. Actually, even it's actually to Justas in 4th.
Yeah, Daddy Spritz has actually lost out on DRS now. If Eva Master in front, of course, Eva Master currently, leading C6 with Shack Attack at the moment. Their final race is tomorrow. As Brent and Crankybot are going wheel to wheel. Crankybot just has the inside through Lovefield. Brent can't quite hang around the outside. And Crankybot up into P15 after starting down in 19th.
Hellboy is sitting in 11th. He's closing in on this battle that's going on all the way from what is essentially the 11th that Nailboy's in, all the way up to 4th. 4th place driver though has a time penalty. That'll be the 3 seconds for multiple warnings, so that's another thing that may come into play in this race.
Oh, and darting into pit lane. I think that was Chalkers coming into pit lane. It is. He picked up a little bit of damage. Oh, one moment for Shabby. Shabby lost the rig, got onto the curbs on the final corner.
He's got to be careful, he's driving backwards.
Yeah, no one's coming down the track, but that's a big loss for Shabby. He was sitting nicely in that Williams in decent position, especially on the medium tyres.
And that's just how difficult it is to keep control of that Williams. Shabby, that's what I would say an uncharacteristic error. Probably something that wouldn't happen in an equal car, but trying to keep up with this track of faster cars, it's just you can lose the back end.
Yeah, I think there's an almighty battle coming out of the pit lane as Chalkers just slots in behind Shack Attack and Maris Daniel. But yeah, as you were saying, everyone's running in a bit of a DRS train at the moment. It's a track that you definitely need good straight line speed, and people just benefiting from the slipstream and Pratik might be thinking about having a go.
Yeah, there's a load of battles here. It's difficult to know which one to pick. It's actually Cranky.
Oh, and Tiku sliding through Stowe.
Don't know if there was contact, but yeah, definitely Tokyo Drift there for ticket. He managed to keep it contact, but he's lost the position to Brent. He's actually having a decent race considering where he started. The same with Prince.
Shark Attack close the back of Maris Daniel, but actually he's barely got any ERS to use, so the Alfa Romeo keeps in tug, and Daddy Spritz and Ralph, bit of contact.
Not turn 2, P2. But yeah, so a little bit of contact, but they managed to both survive, and it's Ralph taking P2, but all three of them in DRS zone of each other, and actually they're getting dragged into the massive DRS zone, which now goes all the way back to Jordan in P9. Oh, is that a crash?
Broomer's on the grass.
Yeah.
I think maybe another victim down at sort of the final corner, just on the the slightly slower cars. But Daddy Spritz maybe looking to make a move back on Ralph, not quite close enough to have a go. I was a little bit worried. It looked like Eva Master was starting to build a gap, but Ralph and Daddy Spritz have sort of managed to keep him within that 1 second, which I think is crucial around this track.
It's crucial for all the drivers on this. It's definitely a DRS strain that we're seeing with everyone that started on the softs, except from Nellboy, who is unfortunately 2 seconds off of that right now, but things can change if these guys start battling in front. Nellboy and even Prince gets dragged right into it. Prince being on the mediums right now, I think, in a relatively good position, not too far behind that train.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times this season in the C1. Prince has gone for that alternate strategy and sort of just run his own race and then come into play a little bit later on. He's going to put the softs on. I think it could be very, very quick, and if we see a safety car or VSC a bit later on, he could be one of those drivers to take advantage and propel himself up the order. But Daddy Spritz and the 2 Red Bulls still going at it full speed, and Justu's not too far behind either.
Trying to frighten Ralph, I think. There's no way he's going to make a move into Maggots and Beckett's, but he's trying to frighten him.
Has he got a better exit than the Red Bull?
No.
They've both got DRS, which is the problem, and Ralph not quite close enough to have a go on Evil Master.
It's a Red Bull 1-2 at the moment. I'm sure in that vein they'll be absolutely delighted. But Ralph, I'm sure, will be looking to get past his teammates for tonight and try and take this victory. Of course, Evil Master actually with a 3-second time penalty, so Ralph doesn't have to technically overtake him, although it would be nice. Of course, it's only 8 laps in, we've still got quite a lot of this race to go.
Yeah, Justu's closing on Daddy Spritz, but again, it's just the DRS that I think is just allowing a lot of these drivers to defend their positions. As Fretty flirting with that 1 second now, almost dropping back from Justice in the battle for P7.
That could definitely, that definitely be good for Jordan if Fretty does fall out of that DRS, but he's way back in it. Oh, actually no, he's still flirting with it. It's about a tenth of a bit, but
right.
This is where the Williams should be slower. Although it should be slower pretty much everywhere.
It's been a poor exit for Daddy Spritz out of Chapel, and looks like Justice may be looking to try and snatch P3. Can he go around the outside? Bit of contact between the pair of them. Lock up from the Alpha Tauri.
Good, and he's going to lose tons of possessions. He didn't in the end. He actually managed to get on ahead of Williams of Justice.
He's in the pits.
Who actually hits. That's a clever move. He's the first to blink to go to the mediums. Which can definitely do the 16-17 laps he's looking for them to do. That's me assuming he's going on to mediums, of course.
I'm not surprised, he's being C1, they're always pushing to try and find a little bit extra. He probably knows how to exploit the strategy better than most this evening. I think realising in that Williams, they're sat in a train at the moment as the 2 Red Bulls looking to go wheel to wheel. Just trying to get out of the train and try something else.
Yeah, it's like Ralph had so much more speed than Evil Master there, but it's just not enough straight there. It needs a better exit out of Chapel for the straight, and for a chance on the overtake later on in the lap. So let's see if he gets that.
He's got a little bit more ERS available to him as Crankybot picks up 3 seconds down in P11.
Is a better exit? Is it good enough?
He's closing, he's closing.
Not going to be close enough. Not this lap anyway. No need to risk. In fact, he's going for the undercut.
Yeah, reacting to maybe the Williams. Will anyone else follow him in? Yes, Brandon.
Yeah.
And Pratik and Justice. Jordan
Everyone's
staying out.
like, it's Bretty, yep, and who's else?
Well,
That's interesting. And a very good. I would agree with the decision. Someone else has done it. Now it's time to do the same.
Ralph's been held up in the pits though. And actually Pratik, I think, might be leading the train. Pratik's made quite a few positions.
Just jumped them. What? How's that happened?
I think because he's further down the pit lane, he got held up.
Yeah, that's a bit of luck for him.
But Justice is going to jump them all. He's clear ahead.
And there is that's the undercut in action there, which I wonder how much time the leaders will lose as all, and Nailboy for that as a matter too. Jordan's going to lose possessions. If Ralph wasn't held up, I would have said he'd probably take the lead. I'm not entirely sure. We'll find out probably in the next lap or two.
Brandon and Fretty. Fretty's got ahead of Brandon as well. Straight out the pit lane. Brandon looks like he's struggling a little bit, struggling to get the power down. Coming out of Luffield.
Just got to get used to the grip that they have on the mediums. They've been running softs for the...
Change of position. Eva Masters in. Daddy Spritz is staying out.
This might be a little bit of the ill experience. C6, most of the drivers are brand new. The undercut is strongest here, and it's usually.
And again, the Red Bull got held up.
Someone's. There's a yellow flag. I'm not sure who it is.
No, I can see it too in the final sector. I think it's just sort of there.
Oh,
I think it's Shakatak, yeah.
He's revived in the pits. That's a shame. That's a big shame that he's.
Evil Master has retained the effective race lead, so I think that puts Justice into an effective potential P2. Two Renaults wheel to wheel out the pit lane. Fretty just keeping ahead of Jordan.
So actually, Jordan didn't lose out at all. He came out exactly where he was.
Oh, and down the inside, and that move's gone awfully wrong. Pratik sent it late on the brakes. I didn't think there was room at the time, and luckily for Justice, he got away with that one. But Pratik getting it all wrong down at Brooklands, and he's dropped down to P15, 3 seconds behind the train, and all that good work of the undercut, the bit of luck in the pit stops has sort of gone to waste, whichever the time being, as Crankybot goes down the inside of Prince, so there's one racing point. Profits the other one, unfortunately loses that, and he just about keeps ahead of Prince as they go into Vale.
I guess it's just maybe that frustration of the first part of the race with the safety car, not safety car, the DRS. The DRS train, and just wanting to get through it quicker, and well, that's what happens sometimes. Go for moves that just aren't on.
And Daddy Spritz is now in the pit lane. Of course, it's one of the slower pit lanes in terms of speed limit. On board of Eva Master, seeing where the Mercedes are going to slot out. He's there on our right hand side. I think the Red Bull's just about going to sneak ahead. What can Justice do? Can he go around the outside of Daddy Spritz, fresh out the pit lane? C1 driver versus C6. Looks like the Williams has just about, sneaked ahead. However, Daddy Spritz has got a good exit, I think. Can he challenge, overtake, enable, DRS open? He's not close enough. I don't think he'll get.
He had to back up. No, he's not going to launch it. It's that actually breaks later and is after Evil Master.
I say that undercut has put him in a prime position for this race. The Williams driver. It's kind of interesting actually. Nailboy staying out. He was a little bit detached from the sort of train that had formed. So maybe just thinking if he goes a bit longer, maybe profit from a safety car or something, or just he's got the freshest tyres towards the end of the race. Could be his thinking there.
Well, it must be the better tyres towards the end that he's thinking of with this one. We'll see how it plays out for him. But right now, so that's Crankybot will take the lead, but there's a few drivers that started on mediums. Not looking too bad for them really right now, and that includes the two Alfa Romeos.
Yeah, they struggled a little bit in qualifying. That was probably down to the car more than anything. I think Nailboy could be slotting out behind his teammate Brandon. We'll see if he comes out ahead of Pratik. He will comfortably.
Yeah, after the spin, it's quite a comfortable 14th. Does mean he's lost. Actually, I don't think he's lost many positions at all. Once he'll be into 9th. Once
Daddy Spritz down the inside of Justice. Justice actually lost out on DRS on Evil Master in front on that last lap, and the Mercedes is ahead of the Williams driver.
Seems like he just sent it up the inside, and Resistance just knew that it was a done deal versus the Mercedes. I think it's quite interesting that a battle that we'll probably see tomorrow is happening tonight as well between Evil Master and Daddy Spirit.
Yeah,
and this genuinely could be the battle for the win at the end of this race.
100%. I think it's a bit of a shame that Shack Attack got things wrong because, well, it's Shack Attack versus Evil Master. That is the C6 champion. They're both on the same amount of points. A straight fight tomorrow. And Ralph's got it wrong against Justus, and Ralph has spun round. I flicked to it very late, but it looked like maybe a bit of wheel to wheel, and just unfortunately Ralph sent spinning. A Pratik is going to try and nip ahead. Can he? Not quite.
No, he doesn't get there quick enough. I thought he might have looked at still getting through, but he's played it wiser this time. But he's going to try and turn 3. No, he backed out of it, but Ralph thought he was going to go for it and gave him the room.
Evil Master ahead on Shabby down the inside of the other Williams driver.
They're starting to overtake those that are started on the mediums. The leaders will be looking to be careful. What could go, obviously could go horribly wrong, hopefully it won't.
Yeah, they should have the pace advantage on much fresher tyres, but they just need to be careful, not do a Lewis Hamilton and send out the inside on a wet bit of track. There's no rain, but
we can add the sprinklers just like Bernie wanted to do. Come on.
Fretty though, a wheel to wheel with Justus. Battle for P9. Can he go around the outside? Yes, he can. Clean around the outside. Good move from Fretty. And can Jordan pounce on Justus being a bit out of shape? Not quite on this occasion.
He does close up so much under braking though. Yeah, at times when Justus made the could race the C3, him and Fretty had excellent battles in every race pretty much where they were both anywhere near each other, and that has continued then again. Fretty coming out and top in that one.
Yeah, I think it's, well, almost one of the most experienced drivers, and actually Justus is a very good driver, very clean racing we've seen so far this evening. Actually, it was his first season, season 8. He's now got Jordan very close to him as well. 3 guys from C3 battling it out, which is good to see.
And Nailboy actually, he's a bit further behind, but it's all 4 C3 in a row back there. I noticed that Daddy Spirit's really struggling to get past Shabby. I think he also forgot he had DRS there.
Shabby actually trying to overtake Evil Master. They've collided wheels a little bit.
And that's going to allow Daddy Spirits to get through.
Can he hang it around the outside? Looks like he's got ahead of Shabby.
I imagine Shabby might not be too happy about that one.
And actually, bit of team play in the Race of Champions. Shabby letting Justice through.
But it's a completely different strategy, and he's in a different race from Justice. So, I guess it does make sense, and maybe Shabby will have a little bit of chance later on. It's about time for some of those guys that started on on mediums to come in.
And here goes Daddy Spirits down the inside. Bold move down the inside. Actually, I think Evil Master sort of gave it a bit of contact. Is there damage for the Red Bull?
No, I think he's got away with it. That's very lucky.
These two going hammer and tong. I think Justice will be liking the sight of this. If these two, battle too hard and Evil Master runs a little bit wide, as Shabby picks up.
Another rarity.
Oh, and that's a line you do not want to take through there. He could be out and into the wall. No.
He's not out, but his chances of winning this race are over with that one. Oh, that's a massive crash.
He was a little bit out of shape just at the start of it all, and I think just turned in a little bit too early for the second part and got onto the grass, and he's sitting duck from there. Big front wing damage, surely into the pit lane for a set of softs.
Brent Pitts, and the battle for the race win is now between Daddy Spirits, who was on pole position, and the Williams of Justice.
And Evil Master has actually retired in the pit lane. So no further part in this race. But whilst we've been watching the battles up for the front, all of the guys who started on the medium tyres are pretty much doing their pit stops. Crankybot, Prinz, Brent, Tiku, all onto fresh set of softs and see how they can progress in these last 9 laps.
I've also realised that it's both of the C6 championship contenders that are actually out of the race. It's not boding well for either of them, but someone must win tomorrow. The only two that haven't pitted yet, if I'm right, for their actual planned pit stops will be Mari Stangel, because he went on to mediums when he pitted with the damage on lap 1, and Shabby.
Shabby under pressure from Fretty. I think this could be an easy move with DRS. He just puts a little bit of overtake just to make sure he gets alongside and ahead of the Williams driver, and Fretty moves up into the podium places. And we said it earlier on, Fretty having that experience, and the race will sort of come to him. And now sat in P3.
Shabby's waiting for a safety car. That's what he's doing.
Oh, we got a
get one.
Broomer, I think. No, Chalkers. Apologies, Broomer.
Chalkers gets it going again, so no safety car for Shabby.
I think both Haas drivers are struggling with the car, and also probably the hard tyres as well. Not the best of sort of combinations.
Yeah.
And Shabby now under attack from Justice, but Jordan could be the one on the attack as well. They could all meet at Brooklands.
Oh, here we go. Everyone getting through that very cleanly. Well, Jordan going for a interesting move through left field.
Can he get the power down around the outside? I think we're going to see again the Williams just not having the speed in a drag race. And the Renault does slot ahead, so unfortunately Shabby losing 2 places.
That's a really good overtake there from Jordan, who will now possibly take the place from Justice, keeping the possession off track.
Well, he picks up a 3 seconds.
Well, karma.
And actually, Jordan might. He doesn't. I don't think it's the ERS to go for this move, but he does have the DRS in his favour. Flicks to the inside. They're going to go wheel to wheel.
He's got. Yeah, Jordan's through. Nicely done.
2 racing point swap positions as well.
This could be really interesting. We were talking about the C3 guys being further down the field. Now they're squabbling over the final podium position. for this race. It's just us still hanging on, Daddy Spirits.
Yeah, I think Freddie not quite making the inroads on the top two, and I think, well, you know, Daddy Spirits super quick out in front of that Mercedes, and just as sort of being pulled along just about by the DRS, and maybe a little bit out of reach for the time being. But Ralph and Crankybot swapping places. Crankybot on the fresh soft, went for the inside.
Well, Ralph didn't exactly leave much room there either, though. And
Lauren Marius Daniel sort of having to back out there to avoid Crankybot, and Marius Daniel gets ahead as Jordan gets his first penalty.
That could be job there to take that long to get a penalty.
Well, that could be crucial in the battle for P4, because just who's now it's, you know, all evens between them.
No,
or has he got more?
He's actually got 6 seconds of penalties.
Ah, so he's fine for the time being.
Yeah, for now. Fretty, as per usual, not got any penalties. Don't know about warnings. Don't really need to check, but right now Fretty avoiding the penalties, but only a few laps. 6 what's left of this lap to go. Who will be crowned the champion of the RLH, basically, in this race of champions.
No boy currently sat in P7, and well, no surprise, no penalties to his name, though he's sort of one of the cleanest drivers by everybody, and closing in on Shabby. And well, you'd imagine Shabby started the race on those tyres, so he definitely has to pit again. No boy just enjoying the DRS for the time being.
I think Shabby really is just hanging on for a safety car, which doesn't, at the moment, don't jinx it, hopefully not, doesn't look like it's coming. Neil White voted the most gentleman driver.
Nice clean move.
Just a lovely, clean DRS pass.
He went for the outside, so you know, it had a little bit of fanciness to it, but
any pass is good in the eyes of the guy that's getting passed.
Exactly.
They don't care. Actually, probably prefer it if it's an easy one like that, compared to having to go wheel to wheel through Stowe or Cops or somewhere crazy.
Yeah, Fine Boy Val saying, you know, asking if Shabby's paying for the tyres or something. 20 laps on these medium tyres is a pretty impressive feat as it is. I think, as you said, just praying.
Yeah. If the safety car doesn't come out,
there's a yellow flag. Oh, that's the Haas.
Yeah, it'll likely be the tyres go pop, like it did for a few people last year, actually, at the Silverstone Grand Prix. The first time they raced there last year, anyway, in real life. And Karuma being lapped again. He'll be feeling like he's in a Haas. Oh, wait, he is. Oh, that's yellow.
Yeah, it's the Haas.
I also seen just that almost was it on the exit of Chapel whilst he was chasing. Not this is just chasing Jordan, but he managed to catch it and it's still quite close.
And Shabby coming into the pit lane now. He's actually retired.
Oh, I thought he would give us some flair. Come on, he didn't retire.
We need at least the fastest lap push in the Williams.
Yeah, that would have been something. He's gonna get a good flag on for quitting.
Let's see if Justice is close enough on the run down towards Brooklands. He's not using ERS, so I don't think he really wanted to go for that bold move just yet. And
just as it's actually starting to fall out with DRS of Daddy Spirits, so he might not have that chance towards the end of the race. But he was probably hoping for, he's actually using ERS to try and keep it within that second, and it's just not worked.
Well, he's basically on 0. I think looking down at his dashboard, he's pretty close to 0.
Yeah, can't even use it down the straight. Look, it is at 0 now.
Yeah, just flirting with that second at the moment.
Hawkers gets out of the way for both Jordan and Eustace.
Tiki picks up a 3-second time penalty, but Ralph and a few guys closing in on Brandon a little bit at the moment. See if they can start a battle towards the end of the race.
I think Ralph is going to be part of that. Ralph will be disappointed, so will the Prof, as I've called him through C5 commentaries. After looking the quickest, really thought he was going to win that. At this point in Q3, and it's just not worked out in the race, especially with the spin after the pits.
Yeah, had that really strong lap. I think the lap would have actually been good enough for pole in Q2.
But that's the issue. You can't peak too early in a full qualifying. It's the first streamed race, main race, I should say, in RLH to have the full qualifying system. And actually, I think it was really interesting. I think it's rather worked out well for this race. Different strategies coming into play, and we've seen different things going on at qualifying that we don't always see.
Looking at the battle for P4, I think maybe, as you were saying, Justy's had that moment, a couple laps ago, coming out of Chapel. I think maybe just, we talked about how the AlphaTauri just can be a little bit almost unresponsive at times. I think maybe just as the tyres are getting old, he's got 1 lap older tyres, just starting to struggle a little bit as he's just outside that second, really trying to find the DRS once again so he can have another go. Ralph 5 tenths behind Brandon.
It's also relatively ashamed that Justice has actually fallen outside the DRS. As soon as he'd done that, Daddy Spirit was able to just pull away. It was the DRS that seemed to have been keeping the Williams driver in with a shout. Since he fell out of it, it's not going to be close enough. But maybe it will change in the last couple of laps, hopefully. But we do a lovely battle for 7th. Ralph and Brandon. Up to Maggots and Beckett, so let's see. I think the Hahasses are having their own wee battle as well.
Yeah, I think they are. Giving us a bit of fun. We've also got Prinz and Crankybot closing in on Pratik, both of those guys on the softs. Pratik on the mediums.
Yep, we do have that. Well, Ralph has lost a lot of time actually to Brandon, must have made a mistake in Maggots and Beckett. The battle is Prinz, who's lunging a little bit. And the C5 champion keeps the position. The late move.
Oh, Prinz on the power.
Is that going to get... Nah, there's not a big enough straight. Crankybot would have loved to have gained advantage of that one.
He's currently in the Racing Point sandwich. Will he look for the move? Down in towards the village. Yes, he's gone for it late on the brakes. Got the car slowed down. They're still wheel to wheel.
But he keeps it. No, turn forward. Just a bit squeezing him out. But Prinz gets the better exit.
Who's going to get DRS?
Outside.
Prinz does have DRS, and we know the Alfa Romeo is quick in a straight line.
Crankybot's got DRS as well, though.
Oh, Cranky gone for the move round the outside of his teammate.
He didn't make it 3 wide, but he made sure he got past his teammate anyway, who seems to have got a better exit though, so they're both going for it again, and Prinz Crankybot going round the outside. This will be an incredible move!
Oh, he's made it work.
What a move! Oh, thank you Crankybot for taking that risk, wow!
definitely pulled that one out of the bag.
Second last lap, putting it all on the line for 9th place.
I think a few people want some podium interviews. I think we can try and sort that out. The top 3.
I'm sure. Freddie had bad spirits. I think it'll be his first interview, and it's looking to be a win as he's started his last lap. It's difficult to take an eye off of this battle for 9th.
Yeah, keep an eye on where the 2 out fronts are, but Prinz now, it's his turn to have DRS on the run down the Wellington straight. Will he get close enough? And actually, it might be Pratik looking for a move. I think about the inside, but not close enough on this occasion.
It's getting right up to the gearbox now, though. Better exit. Did he go for the crazy move to make it work?
Got overtake enabled.
Going to the inside.
Not quite close enough. However, as he makes his way towards Stowe for the final time this evening, it was his first pole position in RLH, and I think it's going to be his first race win in RLH. Brilliant stuff from Daddy Spritz tonight. He's held off the charging Red Bulls, he's held off some of the C1 guys, and he's come across the final corner to win the race of champions. Justus will take P2. Great job in the Williams, and Fretti rounds out the top 3 in his Renault. Jordan makes it well, a C3, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Or 7th. So Ralph now jumps ahead of Justus because of penalties. Prinz
actually gets 8th because of penalties. Frankie bought 9th, and Protec gets 10th. Brandon's the one to miss out. Maris Daniel with a good qualifying, but ends up only 12th, taking those mediums 24 laps to get to the end. I mean, that's something special in itself. Give him that one driver with Frankie bought. Yeah, I think that's quite well deserved. He started 19th and got himself into the top 10. Good race from himself. Personally, it's really a toss-up between Justus and Daddy Spirits for driver of the day, because Daddy Spirits done a great job just fending off and defending his position. And Justus, he's in a Williams. He might be quick, but that is a Williams that he's dragged right onto the podium, chasing down the lead by less than a second and a half. That's an amazing performance. Freddie as well.
Yeah, definitely got to grips with the Williams, the Renault through the race, and actually closed in quite a bit on the top 2 in the final couple of laps. Jordan, good job into P4, and Nellboy, well, keeping it consistent. I think just keeping it facing the right way. You know, he's a little bit behind that initial train, wasn't he? But ending up in P5, you know, good job halving his grid spot as well.
Just add to that, it was the drivers that selected Nellboy for this race, and what a job that he's done. Didn't manage to qualify, but he's managed to finish 5th, which is a great job from him. I'd also say well done to the C3 guys, doing an absolute great showing for the C3 league from this season into next race.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's also quite encouraging. We've got quite a range of cars in the top 10, so it sort of shows that it's been quite well balanced, I think, tonight, and you know, definitely promoted some good racing. I think, you know, having the top 10 separated by, or top 11 separated by just over 20 seconds, I think it just shows that it has been super competitive. We saw it in qualifying as well, how just close everyone was, and yeah, fair credit to the top 3.
Yeah, 2 of those that are in that 20-second gap also spun, so they could have been closer as well. So, yeah, I can't say that was a great race to commentate on, and it's very different from what we usually do. But I think it actually really worked out really well and kept everyone very close together no matter what tier they were from, they were racing pretty much equally against each other. So I think that worked out very well.
Right, I'll do my best to add people to the party. They've marked up the party system, haven't they? It's not as easy as it used to be. Where's Fretty? I know I've definitely got Fretty. Or I thought I did. Oh, he's RLH Fretty, isn't he? That's why I can't find him. Fretty... I don't think I've got the other two, actually. Well, yeah, he's got them from inviting them to the race tonight, hasn't he? Daddy Spritz. I'd like to get his thoughts, the race winner. 100%, because must be quite helpful if I type in half his name if it comes up. It's not like I'm in a lobby with him. I've invited Daddy Spritz, see if I can get Justice as well. Right, I invited everyone, I believe. But I think we've got the winner of tonight's race with us. You can hear me? Perfect. Well, very good job. First podium, first win. How was the race for you this evening? How was it?
Earned it.
How was it in that first stint, the battle with the Red Bulls? Definitely enjoyed watching you out on track. And could you try and change? I think you might have the setting on that we can't. You need to say you can share your audio if you know where to. That's what some people are saying on the stream, I believe.
Go to party settings on the
I've got to ask.
main party screen. It's allow your voice to be shared. Always allow.
There we go. Is that better?
I hope so. Yeah, if you just run for your race sort of quickly again. Sorry for that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, it was good. Kind of difficult start. Helps to be on pole. Helps to be on the fastest car, of course, which is great. But yeah, I've got a mate of mine that was sending me abusive messages while I was driving, so I had to turn my phone off. So that was really distracting. But yeah, no, really enjoyed it. Really clean, no penalties, which is a first for me. So yeah, good race. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
How did you find battling with some of the other guys? You know, I mean, you had a previous C1 champion behind you at the end of the race. You know, I'm quite impressed. You know, keeping you cool under sort of that sort of pressure. How were the last couple of laps for you?
Yeah, they weren't too cool this end, I can tell you now, looking at that gap. And I was determined to try and break the DRS. I kept seeing 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. So I decided on lap 22 to just put everything in, full rich mix, full ERS, and just try and break it. And I think once I broke it, I felt a bit safer. So yeah, it was nerve-wracking, extremely nerve-wracking. Someone in C6 who's never won a race. So yeah, good, really good. Time for a beer.
Well done, and well, what a time to get your first race win, especially with the the final round of C6 tomorrow, and of course the new season coming up.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Well done. And then Justice, well, P2. I think that was pretty good in the Williams. How did you find it out there?
Yeah, the driving was difficult. I had a good start. I think I picked up 2 positions. Then, yeah, it was really difficult to stay with the guys in front, but the DRS is powerful, and Silverstone is known for being a DRS train. So, yeah, that helped me. I think I made a good call on trying to the undercut. I by my surprise, I jumped a couple of cars, so that was also a bit surprising, but yeah, I tried to stay consistent, and I had no chance of getting the daddy spritz. It was just too quick. But yeah, P2 on the Williams, I'll take it, of course.
Yeah, it was a very good drive, and I think you and Shabby giving it absolutely everything in qualifying, just to even get into Q3, really pushed the Williams to its limits. At the end, were you just giving it everything, but just can't quite close that gap to the Mercedes?
Yeah, after the exit of Luffield, he was constantly gaining 2 tenths, I think. I had to drain my battery to just stay in the DRS. It was, the Mercedes engine, but he was quicker, much quicker. So yeah, congrats on his first win, I think I heard. So yeah, well deserved.
Yep. Very well done to yourself as well. And the final podium spot going to Fretti. I think in that first part of the race, sort of in the sort of slipstream train, like a bit like Justice, but then managed to break free a little bit towards the end. How was the race for you?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously trying full quali for, I believe, the first time in RLH, so that's a nice first for us. And probably a few more plans to slip a couple of those in the future. It was an adventure for me. 15th and only just through, I think, in Q1. Second in Q2 somehow, and then bit sort of amateur on my first run. It was on old tyres in Q3, but to invalidate sort of about an inch before the line was not my finest moment. Got a decent lapping in the end, so 7th I think I started, and obviously just as right behind me. Starts are usually my strong point, but I got a pretty poor one, and he was on the inside of me to turn 1, so I sort of gave him as much space as I could and ran off track, got a warning there, and then followed, I think, Prof a couple of corners later into his sort of mistake and ran wide there. So within the first sector on the first lap, I had 2 warnings, so I had to make sure I didn't get any for the entire race. And yeah, first stint was just sort of staying in the train and staying in the race, just sort of waiting really, making sure I didn't get any damage or like I said, penalties. I planned on going early, but this guy goes earlier than me, so just 1 lap later, and then there's a bit of a queue in the pits, so yeah, he managed to jump us. But yeah, after that it was just sort of trying to stay as close as possible and see if anyone got penalties. Even just the last couple of laps, obviously I think about between 5 and 10 laps to the end, the guys behind pretty much all had 3 seconds penalties, so that was fairly comfortable. It was just couldn't give up. I was pushing right to the end. I think I got down to just about under 3 seconds to the lead, but yeah, if we'd have had a couple of penalties maybe, but no chance of beating him on track, unfortunately.
I think it's quite interesting actually. The podium is made up of a C1 driver, a C3 driver, and a C6 driver. From your point of view, what was it like racing, obviously, drivers from the whole, across the board? Was it a little bit different to normal sort of C3 race?
It was great, really. I should say, you've been around sort of as long as I have here. You do tend to sort of race the same people with a few minor changes. So yeah, being against a completely different field is something quite new. I think overall, the pace spread worked itself out pretty well. I think there were maybe 1 or 2 extremes. I think C2 and the Haas maybe struggled a little bit, and I think C5 in the Racing Point had some pretty insane pace at times, but couldn't always use it. But yeah, I think other than a couple of extremes, I think the pace really balanced itself out well, and had a really tight race.
Yeah, I think it was something that that worked out very well, and it was really good to see a wide range of drivers comfortably battling each other, and maybe something we can try again in the future. I think that's the first time we've done something like this.
Definitely in terms of sort of involving sort of all the champions and top runners from various tiers. Yeah, so yeah, it's a good thing to try, and yeah, probably get some more events going on. Obviously towards the end of the game cycle, so the usual seasons start to just calm down a little bit as we're running out of weeks. So yeah, I'm sure there's more to come.
Yeah. I do think that this definitely worked out well. The full qualifying, I think, was actually a bit of a challenge for us to keep everyone interested and through, but I think actually everyone did a good job at that, and it was really interesting through qualifying. And then the race, you guys just all the drivers knocked it out of the park, I think, tonight.
Yeah, I mean, even with full quali, because it's obviously the sessions get shorter and shorter. By the time you've been out for a run, I mean, I did 2 runs in Q1 and Q2. I think at the end of Q2, I was sort of having to get on with it on my outlap because I only had about 1:40 left. So yeah, there's not much waiting around when you're in all the sessions. But yeah, it's great, really. Great evening.
And of course, we kick off a bit of pre-season next week for the new Euro Cup, and that kicks off the following week. So a bit of more action just before the end of this game cycle. And well, I think the last thing we can say is thank you everyone for racing. And Freddie, thank you for setting this one up. It's been a great one to commentate on.
Yeah, thanks to all the other staff as well. It's not just me. It's a team effort. So yeah, you guys as well. You're the front on it. So yeah, well done. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll see everybody very shortly. Tomorrow as well. C6 hasn't quite yet finished. We've got to decide the championship between Evil Master.
He's snuck in without actually even finishing third. He's won the bloody thing.
Well, yeah. for all we know, he might not finish. Might not finish the championship in third. But hey ho.
He's not got Mercedes tomorrow night then.
We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, good luck anyway.
Yeah, good luck for the race in Brazil tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be great.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Should be a good one.
And well, we'll see everyone tomorrow for the C6 race. Thank you, Multi, for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. It's been a great race, and I really enjoyed commentating with you tonight.
It's been good fun. And then we'll see everyone for the start of the Euro Cup in a couple of weeks.